Hello and greetings. Our today's topic is default gateway. What is a default gateway and how it works and how important it is? Let's check. Okay, I have this network and let's name these laptops as or devices as A, B, and C. And this is a network with a router. And this computer, the computer A, wants to visit a website abc.com. Now this abc.com is living somewhere here in this cloud, and computer A wants to check out the abc.com. Now how it will do? It will have to send, or it will have to go through the default gateway. Why it will have to go through the default gateway? Because default gateway is the connection point between networks. So default gateway is a connection point which connects two or more different networks. It can be because internet is also a network, a huge network. And if we want to connect or whenever we visit a website, we always go through our default gateway, and the default gateway is a router. So there is an IP and a MAC address associated with this with the router, and using the ARP request, as we saw in the previous video, the machine A will send an ARP request to get the MAC address, will send the ARP request if the machine A doesn't know the MAC address of the router. This is all we have seen in the video where we saw the ARP in detail. So what does the default mean? The default means the designated device which should be contacted when the data needs to exit the local network. So in this case, if we want to visit abc.com, we are definitely exiting the local network and we are going to the internet. So we have to go through the router. So it's a gate, a default gateway. It's a gate for you or for your device, for your network to connect to the outside world. Now here is a question. How does the computer know if the another computer or device is on their own network or on a different network? And to answer this question, we already have discussed about the IP addresses and subnet mask. So to determine that the destination device is on the same network or on a different network, that can be identified via the IP and the subnet mask. We already have made a video on this, a detailed video where I have discussed the classful subnetting, the classless subnetting, and how different IP addresses or different networks can be identified. So I would recommend you to watch that video if you don't know. But here quickly I will say the IP address and the subnet mask. Now for this subnet mask we have 255.255.255. So this one I can also say this is a /24 network. Now let's take an example. We have this network and let's name the machines as ABCD, and we have two switches and one router and they are connected, and these are two different networks, and the one network IP is identified by the 1.0 192.168.1.0 and the second is 2.0, and we have these IPs given to different devices, and now we have two interfaces. So this is an interface, this point, this is a gateway. This is the default gateway for the network 1.0 for this network. And this one is the interface point, the interface from which the 2.0 network is connected. And for example, the device A wants to send some data to the device D, which is this one. And it means it is a different network. So the first operation that the device A will do, it will check in its ARP cache that do I have an entry for the default gateway, because now it's going to the outside world, to the different network, and how it will know with the IP address. So the IP address is 2.11. So the device 1 or the device A will send an ARP request, will send an ARP broadcast this is an ARP broadcast, to know the MAC address of the router. So the machine 1 will say, hey, I need the MAC address of 192.168.1.1. So 1.1 is the default gate, the IP of the default gateway for this network. And the router will say, yeah, it's me, and here is my MAC. So it's an ARP request. This will also be received by the device B, and it will discard because it's not destined for this one. And once the MAC address is received by device A, this will be recorded in the ARP cache or ARP table. Now the device A can send this packet to the router, to the default gateway, and this router will check the IP, will check the destination IP, and it will then forward that to the switch, and the switch will then forward to the destination device. And that is how it works. Now let me show you the configuration and how can we know the default gateway for our own devices, for our own machines. So here I will write ipconfig and I will press enter. So as you can see, I have a lot of information, and if you focus on this Wi-Fi LAN, this Wi-Fi 2, so here you can see the default gateway is available. So this is my default gateway if I want to connect to another network or if I'm connecting with the internet. And this is the IPv4 address, and this is the subnet mask I have. I would also like to mention that the other networks which I am not using right now, let's say this Ethernet adapter, this Ethernet adapter is not showing me the default gateway because there is no default gateway. Why? Because I am not connected to this network, because I'm not connected to any router, and that is why I don't have a default gateway. And in the same way, for this one, I don't have a default gateway. This was the IP assigned to me when I was connected with this network. Maybe somewhere I would have connected with some network, and this IP was then given to me. In the same way, I had this IP when I connected to some network. If you want to get more information, we have another command. We can say ipconfig/all, and if I hit enter, as you can see, now we have a lot more information, in which we also have the physical address of this Wi-Fi device. We have this physical address, we have IP and subnet mask, we have default gateway, and we also have a DHCP server running on the same IP. We will discuss about this DHCP server, and we also have this DNS. We will discuss about this as well. So I hope this is helpful for you, and see you next time.